Welcome back to TBTV. We're going to be doing another gameplay today. Playing again the Blind Second Gem Knight. I will be putting up the deck profile right here so you can see. I'm going to go over the deck profile for most of the videos. This will probably be its own video or it's going to be part of the same video. This is like a 30-minute match, so we're probably going to cut it short, but we'll see. And we tie first. We're trying to go second, of course. Of course, we win the die roll. We make them go first. Pretty uninteractive hand for going second, so we kind of just let them combo out. So I start off with the Finner. At this point, it could be anything. Playing 40, 6, 7, 8, 9, 50 cards. Probably a pile deck. So they add the Rise Heart. At this point, I noticed that their name was Corvo, and I just commented I love the name because I like the design of the game. So I just wanted to ask. But now they're going into the unskippable cutscene of the favorited Beansmith engine. I think I'll probably just fast forward this part of the game. And then it's done. So I'm like, oh cool, I get to go. So I'm just quickly checking the field. Dealing with the princess, dealing with the flamber. She's going to go ahead and activate the effect to summon the poplar in the background, which is just weird because we're going to gain the Snake Eyes card that puts something in my back row during their turn, assuming they survive the subversion, which is like, cool, okay. Just playing to thrust at that point. But yeah, we're like, alright, we're going to break the board. Just looking at the grave, I know we're dealing with the Lacrima, so that's going to come up later. There's no field negates other than Caesar, so we're just going to try and take care of that. So we summon that, use the effect. We're probably going to add the quartz, and we already have the hollow core. That way we can benefit the most from the droll if they have droll. Because at this point, if they droll us, we can just summon the armadillo. And we already have the Scatter Fusion, so if we can get the Quartz, then we can set the Brilliant Fusion and then just push to the board. So Princess isn't live. The only play they really have is the Caesar. So we have to play through the Caesar. But that's why I got the Scatter Fusion, because Scatter Fusion plays through Caesar. Because it can't negate it, since it is only a activation. It's an ignition effect, not an activated effect. And they're just adding follow-up at this point. So we'll use it. Gonna set the Brilliant Fusion. And that's just basically insurance. We'll use the effect to normal summon. Then here we're gonna summon the Armadillo. We're gonna use the Armadillo effect to add another monster. At this point, brick or another than that from just because we know we're going to go into fusion material, so we need the more material. Go ahead and go into our link. Go to link 2, he can add another card. We have 3 copies, so they're basically just dead, but we can use both effects once, so it's pretty good. We can go activate since they can't negate it. Go into Lady Rose so we can try and pop some of the board if they're trying to stop us. Summon an attack, go ahead and chain link. Chainlink 1 to summon, Chainlink 2 to add. Use the effect to add the other copy back to hand. Then we can just discard whatever to summon the other copy. Then activate, send. If they negate it, so what? We have Gem Knight Fusion engraved. Now we can fusion anyways. We're just trying to bait out the one Caesar pop so I can pop it with Lady Rose Diamond. They're thinking hard. I mean, he knows that I have Brilliant Fusion set, so that's kind of why I did it as a mind game. I sent Brilliant Fusion because I want him, because either he negates it and he gets destroyed, or he doesn't negate it and I get to play. So no matter what, it's a checkpoint. So we're just going to banish the quartz because we're going to shuffle it back anyways. Now we can target the Caesar. Bam, 1 for 1. Now I have it engraved anyways. I got the card I wanted, now I can fuse. Or we can add. Honestly, at this point, we just add more names for fusion. Now we can fuse. We're trying to clear the board at the moment, so I'm looking at my options. Because if we send the Aquamarine or the Prismora to grave, then we can get some more pops and stuff. So that's something I'm considering. And here we just go ahead and send a couple. Trying to send stuff from field to keep the resources in the hand. Go Gemini Dispersion. Alright, now we can banish one more name since we're going to shuffle back anyways. Then go ahead and pay 1,000. And then we're trying to bounce back cards, so we're trying to keep things from hitting the grave, like the Flambridge at this moment, because if Flambridge goes back at someone's back. So we go here, then we'll probably fuse. Then we can make Gem Knight Master Diamond by sending him, and then the fusion and maybe the Networm or something from hand. Make this guy. Mandatory chain effect 1. And then we're just thinking, yeah, keep the Flambridge out of the hand. Now we can go ahead and tribute to summon the 3. Topaz, Ruby, and Aqua. Now we're going to use his effect, tribute to the Aquamarine, and bounce back the Princess so it's not in the grave. Use his effect. I accidentally played the wrong card there. I was supposed to fuse them away and go into Topaz, but I messed up. But they surrendered. They saw the lion. They knew I was going to win. So playing against Snake Eyes, we're probably going to go second again. But we don't know, so we're just going to take out a lot of these cards and try to keep some of the negates live. Definitely throwing in the DD Crows because we want to make sure we can just get rid of as much as possible. And then we're taking the Drolls out for now. Run the Called By just in case if they have Princess or something we have to deal with in grave. Take out some of the Salesman. Maybe just keep one copy in for now. They do summon a lot from the graveyard, so we're thinking maybe we can run the Meows because they have to summon a lot from the grave, which kind of turns off some of the plays. We go down to 2 quartz because we don't need both copies. We could probably take out some of the scatter fusions too. Ideally we want at least like 1 or 2 copies because if they make us go first then we're gonna brick. So and it looks like they're going first and we have another dead hand. We have Salesman, Salesman, Droplet, Scatter Fusion, which is crazy. So now they're just going to combo off again, basically. Unskippable cutscene. We're basically just going to be on our phone the entire time, and I'll probably just fast forward this part too. So now we go here. I do have the Salesman and the Droplet and the Scatter Fusion, which are pretty ideal. The only issue is I have a lot of extra copies. So here I'm going to make a misplay. I'm just thinking about what I should do. So they have the Quick Effect Tribute Negate, which I can't negate other than by a Called By, or like a Orange Light. They have the Desiree, which is on field, so I can send for cost to avoid it being negated. They'll just negate the Droplet. So my idea here was I'll use Salesman to deal with the Lacrima, because the Lacrima can then kind of loop things through. At least that's what I was thinking. But then I think there's no way they're playing 2 Fiendsmith Desirees, but if they were playing Desiree, then the Lacrima can send the Desiree to then bounce back something on my field or send it to grave. So I was kind of struggling here. I honestly should have, what I should have done is use the salesman to call the Ilia Sylvia so we can go ahead and checkmate the negate, because either they're going to negate it with the Sylvie, which just trades 1-for-1, they get rid of one, I get rid of one Omni negate, or they negate that effect with the Desiree, and then at that point they still have the Omni negate live, which they contribute for. But what I would do is when they respond with Desiree, I should have then used Droplet to send the salesman plus the gem Armadillo to negate both of them, so they can't respond with it. And then I just use a Scatter Fusion to play and hope they don't negate it. But I was dumb and I used that to activate that. Then they use that to negate both cards. Don't know why I didn't send the salesman from my hand. But then I was like, alright, let's start playing. Then they have the negate there. That effect's gonna let them summon something from the back row, which isn't really a big deal. They're just getting some follow-up play. At this point, we're trying to add the Hollow Core or the Quartz because we want to go ahead and infuse. Then we're checking everything, still have to deal with the Lacrima at some point. Something really menacing on the board, so we're going to go ahead and use that to set the Brilliant Fusion. Just never trying to play into Imperm's columns. Why take the chance? Go ahead and activate Brilliant Fusion to fuse. At this point, normally we always go for the Gem Knight Lady Rose because we always want to be able to pop stuff on the field. At this point, I really don't want to discard the Scatter Fusion, so as much as I want to summon Neprum so I can add off of Neprum, I have to go minus. So I'm considering, because I need to have another name in graveyard. So we go ahead and activate Neprum, and then chain the Quartz. And then I made a miscalculation here, so I had to add back the monster I was going to summon, which really threw me off. This is just already a lot of misplays, but this is why I want to share this gameplay so you guys know what not to do. Luckily I still have an additional fusion, but it cut me off of a lot of resources. What I should have done is summon the Neprum and the Quartz, use the Quartz to add back Neprum to hand, go ahead and fuse into Seraphinite, use Seraphinite's extra normal summon to summon Neprum, and then go from there. So this is already like 2 or 3 misplays, just cutting myself an advantage. Already still facing a full board, only having outed the one negate, being negated twice myself, so just the card economy, the card advantage is just not on my side right now. And then I have to deal with the 4,000 body, which is gonna burn me for 4,000 when I attack into it, which I can out, but it's just unfortunate. And right here, if I had played it safely and got into the link, I could have added extra bodies so I could discard later. So at this point, we're just gonna have to force the link and then use the link to add the dispersion. Although I don't have Gem Knight Fusion in graveyard, so that kind of cuts off a lot of stuff because I didn't add the Hollow Core to hand with anything. So unfortunately, we have to go for a link. At least we can go Chain Link 1. I also messed up here because I used Chain Link 1. Well, no, I couldn't chain block because Aquamarine is a mandatory Chain Effect 1, so I can't go Chain Effect 2 to add. Otherwise, it would have been good. So our opponent's thinking here. At this point, the Gem Knight Dispersion isn't really crazy, So yeah, we have to go for the hollow core because we have to send fusion to grave. So if we get to another copy, then we could maybe use it later. We at least have the hollow core engraved live for the negate, so if they try to pull anything here, we have a negate. So someone here now trying to consider our options. Maybe banish the fusion to add back. Usually banish the quartz, but this time we're banishing that because we're going to shuffle back anyway, so it doesn't really matter. We're still not gaining a lot of card advantage here. This is already a losing state. We have to answer to so much, and they still have the Lacrima engrave if it's live. Plus whatever 2 back rows we're dealing with, which is likely Paradise and something else. It would have been, I don't think it's an imperm because they would have done something by now. Now we're just trying to create extra bodies, going to go to Dispersion, shuffling back into deck. And then we'll go ahead and activate the effect. Trying to bounce back everything or non-target. Trying to bounce everything back or send a grave because we can't really target way too much, so going to the usuals, we're going to go into Ruby, Topaz, and then Aquamarine. Maybe we could go into Prismora. Then the usual, use that effect. We can either send the Topaz to gain the boost, because either way we're going to fuse to make Gem Master Diamond to try and get the effect to copy the Topaz, and then we can benefit also the Aquamarine too. So we'll go ahead and fuse for Master Diamond using Hollow Core, Aquamarine, and the Link. And they go ahead and try and use Paradise. We're going to go ahead and chain Gate. Just banish the 3. Which will weaken our Master Diamond, but that's fine. At this point we have the Ruby, which would deal piercing damage, but it's gonna actually attack us, so we're gonna activate, banish the Topaz. This time didn't accidentally click on Aquamarine. Then we'll use the effect to banish monster, probably the Link, add back to hand, then activate Brilliant Fusion to discard to give Lady Rose her original attack. And now we're putting some pressure on. Now we can actually kind of play into the board a little bit. We have to remember that Master Diamond was fused off of, actually no, anytime you use the Link monster fusion cannot attack directly. So the first thing we have to get rid of is the Saint Nazamina, because it's going to deal a lot of burn. So they take the burn damage, but we're still taking the burn damage as well. And then here, I forgot that when the Desiree goes to grave, it will send one on field to grave, so unfortunately my Master Diamond can't attack twice. So I should have attacked the Poplar and then attacked again. So this is where I mess up. This is basically game at this point because I can't bounce back from that. I can't deal for lethal. The only thing that would have saved me here would have been a call, but even then I can't deal lethal, so that's all I can do. I can't go on any more links, nothing. Best I can do is banish to add, so I just have to pass here. So I managed to out the board, but they got back follow-up. I have no more interactions whatsoever. I do have a negate live, but that's really not going to do much. At this point they add the Hollow Nazamina. It's just going to recycle. They're just going to fuse like crazy, so at this point I just surrender. We just go next game. I messed up way too much. I kind of cleaned up a little bit, but not enough to deal with the board. So now we're going to force them to go first. Now we can kind of side some of the better cards in now. So going first, we're going second. Some of the scatter fusions are good now. The quartz are good. The gamma is good. The orange light's good. The DD Crows for sure still. The back row removal. The thrust. I want to keep a lot of those cards and just mainly try and keep them from summoning from the deck like crazy. So we'll take second. And I open up one single DD Crow. It's amazing that I run like 20 hand traps in this deck, and sometimes I don't open any of them. I just open all engine. I mean, it's still pretty good. The Harpy's Feather is pretty good. The Neprum Summon's pretty good. The Dispersion's pretty good. The Brick's not terrible, but if I can get the Fusion or get the additional normal summon, I just go into Link anyway, so it's not the end of the world. There's been worse hands for sure. They're gonna fool with me during their own turn, which is crazy. They think that I can just summon from the deck. I think at this point they decided to go first, or they decided to go second. So I'm not really sure why. Maybe they're just trying to bait an Ash or something. But I'm just like, okay, sure. I literally never summon during your turn. I don't even run the Bystials anymore, so it's gonna normal summon the Fenrir. It's gonna be a crazy Cash Tier combo. Then add Rise Heart. At this point we're in 14 minutes, so it's pretty tough now. This is the third game, so it's wild. So now he's got the Witch. He's not going to special Rise Hard because he gets locked into Xyz, so he's probably going to normal summon Rise Hard if he has to. Use the effect to banish to rip 3 from my deck face down, which is pretty good always. Oh, normal summon the Luri. And Fiendsmith minigame. And at this point I have to contest it. Because even if he summons Lacrimosa and Graver, at least if I banish the Requiem, I'd rather just not deal with Desiree and Caesar. So here we're going to do the DD Crow. Or depending on, well, not yet. We're going to let them dump the Engraver and then use the Engraver effect, so we can at least have that effect gone and the Requiem out of rotation. They're going to attempt to use the effect, and that's where we need to grow. And we'll get rid of the Requiem, because we just don't want to deal with the Requiem during our turn. And then that's most of the board. Deception sets itself, probably dealing with an Imperm and something else. So we'll go, we're just going to start off by destroying the back row. Force out any interruptions they have. Which is probably going to be the Asmina Debtors. If they ended up setting it, which I don't see why they wouldn't. Probably kept the Asmina in hand. And they banish our one of Brilliant Fusion, which sucks, but not terrible. They're just thinking now. They're griefing. They're like, dang, I had a good back row. Now the whole back row is gonna get destroyed. I have to deal with the Fenrir, which sucks. I have to deal with the SP. So there's 2 banishes, one banish face down. So that's kind of tough. I have to drop it, which helps me play through some of it. So it just depends on what I can really do to play through the combo. Because SP banishing isn't the end of the world. We can just shuffle back with the Link afterwards. I'm really dealing with the Fenrir banishing face down. The Rise Heart does nothing. We're just worried about an Imperm or something else in the back row. Honestly, I think in this game I win. We end up going into time though, because it took so long. But yeah, that's the end of the gameplay there. The first part of the gameplay was really fun. The second one, you can just kind of go over the mistakes, so you can kind of learn from the mistakes. And then the third one, I'm pretty sure I had the game anyways, but it's just all about the tech play. Let me know if you enjoy these. I love making the gameplay ones. I'll definitely do some more Omega ones. I would love to do live commentary, but sometimes it doesn't set up that way. I think sometimes it's better to go through gameplay so I can edit and cut out parts and just kind of go over what would be better plays than what I did. But thank you for watching as always, and please subscribe.